So it was a short intro about our organization. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kushi, and I am delighted to be your host for today's session on behalf of Atma Foundation. Welcome, everyone. Today's session on sustainable developmental goals. We are delighted to be have all here. Let me introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Shubham Yadav. He's director and founder of Mymania Foundation. He's committed social reformer with deep experience in psychological counseling, de-addiction, and life skills training. He leads the My Media Foundation, which provides education in urban slums and rural areas in Delhi and Uttar Pradesh, helping bridge the gap for underprivileged children and youth. Shubhamji has worked extensively with diverse groups, including inmates at Tihar Jail, focusing on rehabilitation and mental wellness at Atma Foundation. So let's warmly welcome Mr. Shubham Yadav ji. And sir, over to you. Sir, you are not audible. Please open your.
Uh, Namaskar, everyone. Uh, from my Media Foundation team, it's a great opportunity for us to present some of our work, views, and we're going to talk about few things. So, Kushi, first of all, I want to just ask you: the session will going to be a bilingual or like only English? Can we use?
Sir,
Or, hmm.
yeah. Sir, session will be on English because we have Malayali audience and they can understand English also.
We'll try to, on some note, we'll try to make them understand Hindi also on some emotional points. Maybe we'll translate or
Fine.
something, right?
Fine.
So I have one presentation on SDGs and other points also. Before that, I want to just discuss few points with everyone. As we know, psychology is related to the mental health, and we just working with a thin line where we in our society, if you go to any doctor and your society know that as you're visiting someone psychiatrist or something, they'll just stigmatize everything and they just try to make you that, oh, you're getting some treatment for the mental health or something, your child is ill or something like that. Because in our society we have a stigma related to the mental health. Yearly or maybe half yearly, quarterly, we go and check our vitals, CBC, other reports, heart, liver, everything. But we don't have trend to check and assess our mental health on regular basis. If you're going to tell people about aware about them, that how we can take care our mental health, how we can should work on our hand mental health, sometimes they get some confusions in mind and something. But today we are going to discuss on SDGs. Those are the sustainable development goals. So I have a presentation with me. Is I'm allowed to share screen or something? I think yes. Allow me a
Yes.
moment. Please let me know when you are able to see the
Yeah,
screen
it's visible.
as visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Before jumping on the SDGs, I have few points to share with everyone. As we live in India, and I'm trying to make point clear for everyone that in India we have various other problems also as a Western world have. Uh, Before that, for my English, maybe on some bit points you will get confused or something, because I'm a Hindi speaking person. Here we use Hindi mostly. Some on some points you will feel that his English is not that much perfect or something, but I'll try. अगर हिंदी में मौका मिले तो हम उस चीज़ को और अच्छे से बोल सकते हैं, बता सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारी बेल्ट हिंदी है और हम इस भाषा में यहाँ ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल होते हैं, बट आई एम ट्राइंग. सो थिंग इज दैट in our India, we have one parameter which called poverty. In Hindi, we call garibi. in English we call poverty. For assessing that, we have a dedicated index, and that is called MPI, Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index. There are few figures on a screen. You can see highlights progress report related to the India. Before jumping onto the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, I just have few 2 3 slides related to the MPI. Why it's important for India as an NGO, why we should focus on it. Because hunger is one of the biggest problem in India nowadays. Till the time also, various people not able to get proper and adequate food. Maybe one time only they get food. We have dedicated NGOs for providing food. We have NGOs related to the providing shelter, clothings, but still in our nation, in our country, we're facing that particular issue. In some families, they are below poverty line, BPLs. According to government, they are living below poverty line, and they don't have, sometimes they don't have proper food. Due to that, they got malnutrition. They don't get proper nutrition value in their meal, in their food, and that somehow affecting the sustainable development goals. If you're not healthy, you're not able to go and work, or maybe not that much productive. Anyhow, that particular thing going to circulate and going to impact on our long term goals. In this slide, you can see India is on track to achieving SDG. Yes, we are on it. Somehow, we are decreasing with numbers of poverty index, and that's good news. So, going with other facts, just review everything on the screen. You will get idea. This all data taken by the Niti Aayog official report. You can also check yearly. We have these reports on panel. Here you can see basically three parameters are there: health, education, and living standard. In health, we have a subcategories. If you can see here, nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, maternal health, then education, years of schooling, school attendance, and a major part is related to the standard of living, cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, electricity, housekeeping, assess bank account. These are the basic fundamental things which are included in MPI. And MPI is one of the part of SDGs also. Here you can see another related to this, and this one in big picture. Few pointers related to the state wise. You can see this how states are doing and what are the percentage in it. Now, few other points. You can see on your screen there is a percentage related to the each part, weightage also, contribution also. There's some mathematical statistical data. We'll simplify this in further talk. Here's today's topic which we want to talk. Number one point is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. You can see there are 17 sustainable development goals, and each one is related to another one. We have a parallel system with a government cycle. Poverty is one of the biggest problem. That is the reason I showed you MPI. If you're not aware about MPI, go and check how is MPI work, what kind of research is done by government agencies, and how we are working. Maybe some of you know NGO Darpan also, to know how NGOs are working and how many are registered, in which fields they are registered. You may check registration of NGOs also and their core working area. Each and every one, those are working for the social welfare, somehow they're covering few of points related to the sustainable development goals. Maybe they are covering quality of education, maybe they're covering related to the clean energy. You can take anyone, life or land, life below water, anything they can take it. The main agenda to show this particular slide to you, if you're not aware till the time about the sustainable development goals, then you'll get some knowledge. If you are aware, then try to make aware others also. If you're wishing to working in a social work like as a foundation, as a society or trust, you should understand sustainable development goals, because without planning we can't work, and each nation has their own problems. State also, in your state, district, in each and every district there's a block, and block as a village, which is the first unit of our nation. Villages are first unit of our nation. How many of you think that a normal farmer know these terminology which we are using? SDGs. What are the SDGs? Try to ask them. Whenever you get time, sit with someone in village or something and ask how much you know about sustainable development goals. What are these? Maybe few of them know, but mostly they don't have awareness about it. In North India, we don't have. We have seen that. You may further tell me about Kerala also, how things are going there. So here I have a few points to share. We always just this session will not going to tell you or explain about sustainable development goals. You're well aware about these all things. That's why you're joining this particular session. Today we are going to understand about our India, about various states, schemes of government. As I feel, if you're attending this session, after particularly attending the session, you may take with you some knowledge related to the various schemes, various areas, so you can help others. Without awareness and without knowledge, we cannot succeed to support a community, our populations, or our nation. So, in a one point, on a first point, there are namely well-known schemes. Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Development Scheme, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. You can take a screenshot of this particular screen and afterward you can read. In Zero Hunger, you can see again there's a Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, National Food Security Act 2013. Again, Prime Minister Kisan Samman Yojana, PM Kisan, and numbers are there. In health, we have various. National Health Mission is there, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, Mission Indradhanush. Fourth, quality education. So, Samagra Siksha. Mostly in our India right now, NGOs are working in quality education, for quality education, where they try to make a holistic development. How we can improve the education for the child? We should indulge life skills. We should tell them related to the daily life chores. From the beginning, we make them understand about how life is working, how life gone, and related to other things. Skill development should be there. As NGOs, we have to focus how we can empower others, because you can feed someone for 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, maybe something like any number you can choose. But if you make them understand that you have to work and you can earn for yourself, for your family, and you can get food by that particular money. If you empower someone, they can earn their own meal. They can earn, they can save, they can change their lifestyle. And ideally, they can support nation also. Fifth, you can see fifth, gender equality. बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम, सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना, गर्ल चाइल्ड प्रोस्पेरिटी स्कीम, मुद्रा योजना, जननी सुरक्षा योजना, and namely are there. When we talk to females, when we talk to like families, they have one legitimate question with us, that why people not equally treating us? Why they always say that you are female, you have to do maintain a household work or something like that only? Why we not treated equally, or why we not given chance equally? Maybe in your state, maybe in your area, in your district, condition is different, but majorly is like that only. Females are like believed to work in homes, inside home, and male have to earn and fulfill everything. So we have to work on gender equality also. We have to give chance, we have to give opportunity to females also, to any gender, not only females, to each and every gender, a human being. Sixth, clean water and sanitation. Till now in India, in Rajasthan, in various parts of North India, we don't have clean drinkable water, and it's a very major issue. Maybe some of you know Badmer. There's one district in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, mostly drought is there, and sukha. There's no water. So how they're surviving is a very big question. We have to understand. 7 point, that's affordable and clean energy. It could be solar. It could be wind. It could be related to the thermal energy also. So we can. decrease our carbon emission, so we can control our temperature, control our climate degradation. So we have to work with proper and adequate planning. What you can do, you have to just think. It's not a, it's not related to the foundation, it's not related to the any sangathan or group. It's each one's responsibility. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. What you can do, if you're able to teach someone, go and teach. If you're able to provide shelter to someone, go and do. If someone is needy, go. Try to plant trees so we can make our environment better. Whatever you can do, try on your own level, because each drop is important to change our society, change our nation, change our world. We know in India we call Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This whole world is our home. So we have to focus that how we can change our home. It's not about your house, not about my house or my area, my locality. It's about our world, our nation, our community. Eighth goal, decent work and economical growth. For there various schemes are there, but we are going to generally discuss. Each one has right to work in non-toxic environment. In few chemical plants, employees are working without any protection or proper gears, safety gears. Some of you know about Firozabad. One of the biggest glass work industry is there. But when you visit there in inside Karkhana and like factories where the glass work taking place, they're working in hazarded environment. They don't have proper mask. They don't have proper safety gears with them. There's various other units are running without any safety. So we have to work on safety also. Same like ninth one, we have to develop industries. You may start from your home. Just start. If you have any, if you know any skill, if you know how to make jute bags, or maybe uh, in your area you are able to do beekeeping, then produce honey. Maybe something else. Start a small unit. Why we just looking towards the government or someone will going to come to you and uh, tell you that let's just start now, we can start or something. Why not we can start? Why not we can start from a small infrastructure, small units? We can also, because it's not a single one's responsibility. It's not government's responsibility only, or for the organizations or someone who is working in social welfare. It's each one's responsibility. Charity begins from home. It's very old saying. We have to look into the matter and start something. Start your own education hub, something related to the production or something. Create industry so we can do these things. Reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. As we are growing on daily basis, we need a sustainable cities and communities also. There should be proper garbage management system, how we can manage our garbage, drainage, water supply, other things also, transportation and everything. 12th, responsible consumption and production. We have to teach our children from young age. There's a very old story related to the mm, Adi Kal, and related to that, the Lord Krishna eaten a one piece of rice from the that utensil, and he give that message that meal is very important, energy is very important. If you're not respecting these all things, or like using wisely, then one day we'll go back towards our backward revolution will happen. We'll go to the bull cart one day, and we'll just see that, because we are going to use everything. We're going to use coal, we are going to use other resources, and then one day resources will be going to be end. So we have to make sure from the early age child know how much, how, and why he or she need that particular thing, and what what should be the consumption habit of child. We have to make them understand from the early age, so they can somehow know their real needs and their consumption. Climate action. On each year we see extreme and, you know, extreme winter, extreme weather conditions are like changing day by day. We have to look towards our environment, plant trees. Today is earth day. By itself it's showing that how we're treating our mother earth. So we have to make aware others. If in your area someone is doing something related to the climate or something, anything from the whatever 17 goals are there, if anyone is doing something, please go and help them. If you're not able to market their work, go and help them to market, make other aware about it, so things can be changed. Marine life, yeah, right, life below water, that climate change impacting us, and pollution, plastic production, consumption of plastic bags, bottles, those going into the sea, impacting water life, fishes and other things, aqua life is in danger. Life on land. Recently, we have seen few footage related to the government work taking place inside some forest area, and they're very emotional moment for everyone. So we have to look how we can save our forest and life, wildlife. We have to look into it, and it's a goal number 15. Peace and justice and a strong institution. I don't know how many of you have experience in judiciary. Maybe you have experience with rehab centers or something related to that. We have to work for humanity, for manavta. This is one of the sayings, seva parmo dharma. So we have to look into these matters. Justice for everyone and peaceful environment for everyone should be there. We have to look wisely before doing anything. So we have to look who is wrong, who is right, and beginning take place from the starting age of the child. If we make them understand what is wrong or what is right, they will do things properly from the beginning. Then world will be better and peaceful for everyone. There are other data. In India, we are now working on SDGs, and India have their own targeted states. Number one, no poverty, Tamil Nadu, Dadar Nagar Haveli and Damandiv. Number two, Kerala itself, zero hunger. Number three, good health and well-being, Gujarat and Delhi. Goal number four, quality education, Kerala and Delhi. Gender equality, Nagaland and Lakshadweep. Clean water and sanitation, Goa, Andaman and Nicobar. Affordable and clean energy. You can see list. Andhra, Assam, Goa, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra. So you can see list. You can take a screenshot and afterward read. You can see latest report of Niti Aayog related to the SDG. In this particular section, you may going to see how we are scoring. Key highlights. We achieved 57 to 60, 66 and 71. Last year, we are on 71 on a score rating. State-wise, we can see 57 to 79. UT score is different and you can see here. So here's a basic information about SDG or something. If we have a more time with us, then maybe we can take or pick few of the points related to the SDG goals, Sustainable Development Goals, because each one has vast issues to handle or areas to manage. We have to understand how we are going to handle quality education, how we can tackle hunger, what are the proactive action we should take as a citizen of nation, as a aware citizen. We have to understand. So it's all about to like SDGs and in brief, and go and read about it. You will get idea about each and every thing. Now here are some points related to the CSR spending, how CSR taking part, and other few things what we are doing. We are working for quality education and providing mental health support to the slum and rural areas. These this particular picture is related from our slum area where we are working with the RPF Patel Nagar. There's one of the area in Delhi. So we are tying up with them and they provide us a space and we are providing them education. So it's all about my Meena Foundation. We work for the slums and rural areas. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Yeah, Kushi.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to call Nandana. She'll give you more of thanks.
Good evening. I'm Nandana. I'm here to extend the word of thanks on behalf of Atma Foundation. I sincerely thank Shubham Yadav for taking time out to share such valuable insights with us today. Your session has truly added great value and helped us understand about the SDGs. We are grateful for your time and contribution, sir. Thank you so much. Next, I would also like to thank each and every participants who joined us today. Thank you once again. Thanking you, everyone.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Shubhamji. So, we have another session on primary and secondary research. Give me some time. So, we have Adharsa ji. So, good evening, everyone, once again. Welcome back to our webinar series. This is our second session, and today we'll be diving into topic of secondary and primary research. We are happy to have with Ms. Adharsha ji, who brings both strong and academic knowledge and practical insight to the subject. Adarsha ji currently pursuing her PhD in psychiatric social work at NIMHANS with her research focus on grief. She holds an MPhil in the same field for NIMHANS and has qualified the UGC JRF. Her academic journey begins at Vemela College, Thrissur, where she completed her bachelor's in sociology and master's in medical and psychiatric social work. So we are excited to learn from your expertise in research and mental health. So warmly welcome Ms. Adesha ji.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you a lot. Myself, Adharsha, as already Khushi have introduced me, I am doing PhD in Enhance under the Department of Psychiatric Social Work, and I'm in my fifth year of PhD. My research area is grief. Actually, I'm doing research with the people who lost their loved one due to COVID-19. So I think me being a research scholar, the correct topic has come to me for today's session, the primary and secondary research. Thank you a lot, Atma Foundation, for giving me this opportunity for this session. So I think without wasting much time, let's start the session. I'll just try sharing the screen. Is it visible, Kushi?
Yeah, it's visible now.
Yeah. So again, good evening, one and all. So let's start today's topic. So basically, what is research? Research, because before starting directly to the primary and secondary research, I thought I'll just brief about the research and types of research so that it will be a bit easier for everyone to understand primary and secondary research in detail. So as like most of us knows, and those who are participants, I think they are either in the second year of their masters or they have graduated their masters. So all of you know what is research, but again, just a brief light onto the topic so that we can just start the topic from a very base level. So research is a process that helps us to discover or understand or new fact, or it also helps understand to the already existing facts or information, and it also helps us to check in to the or confirm certain information that is already available to us. And it's like it encourages us in asking questions, like why this is happening, so what is this is happening and why. So in the previous session, I think the speaker was telling that the global warming and and the climate change. So when we go out these days, we feel it much hotter, and the climate change, and the question is like, why it is hotter much these days compared to 10 days prior? When I was going to school, this was very different, and now it is very different. So the question can only be answered through research. So we have to do research for answering all our questions, our queries, the things which don't make sense to us. So that is why research we are doing. So research actually came from this French word recherche, which actually the meaning is to go about seeking, to understand, to seek about something new or something which is existing but new about it. So why do we do research? So we do research to learn more about the world in a very reliable manner, rather than speculating things or guessing things that this might be because of this, or this may be because of this, or this is happening because of that. Rather than just speculating things, when we answer a question very reliable way, we need to do a research on it. Okay, so it helps us to understand a problem in a much better way. Questions can be answered, and the old ideas can be questioned, and smarter decisions can be taken with the help of the research. So, as we are all like more in the field of social sciences or social work, so in our area, the research is in the field of understanding or knowing the people, how the patterns of their behavior, the patterns they think, the pattern they live, they interact with each other, and how are they mingling with each other. So research actually helps us to understand these things. So when we understand these basic things, what happens is it gives us a better solution for a social issue. Like just now we actually spoke about poverty, right? So why poverty is happening in our country, and why other countries are better than us, and why we are going in this particular way, and what are the things which can be done to solve this particular issue, can all be answered through research. So that is how the social issues can be solved, and new policies and new laws can be brought through the research. So, in short, what research does is to help us to understand what works, what doesn't work, and what improves, things that everyone feels that they know. So in that manner, there are like different types of research. So I don't want to go in depth about each types of research, because again it will be a whole lot of one full day class. So I'll briefly explain the types of basic research types which are available in like almost all the books. So we have descriptive research, we have explanatory, exploratory research methods, type, correlational research, theoretical research, and applied research. So I think I would explain these types of research with an example. For example, we are doing a study on school dropouts. Imagine that there is a neighborhood school which have dropouts have been reporting. So the descriptive research may, what we will do is to understand the situation, like the school dropout is happening, these many students are dropping out. So what is the particular age of these particular students who are dropping out? What are the scenarios which is there in the school? So that is more of describing the problem and finding out the things associated to it. And explanatory research will be more of like explaining why these things are happening. So in this particular research, why dropout is happening? So what are the causes which are causing these dropouts? What are parents doing? What are teachers doing? So how is this particular behavior can be explained? So that is kind of explanatory research. So in exploratory, more we will actually know, exploring new things about it, like exploring the problems, exploring the unclear things about this particular situation which has happened, and what are the reasons why this is happening. So we are exploring a particular area which has not been explored prior. So that is how exploratory research is done. Correlational research, we can actually say that when there is a relationship between two variables. More simply, if I would say, is school dropout and teachers behaviors. So whether teachers behavior in the school is causing children to drop out from the school or not, whether there is a relationship between these two variables. To understand that, we do correlational research, right? Theoretical research is more of understanding the theory. like the students, for example, teenagers are the one who are dropping out, let's imagine. So why only teenagers? So is there anything which is connected to that self identity? Is there anything connected to a particular social status of the society, or is there anything particularly regarding the family dynamics of family or community dynamics? So all these kind of theoretical explanation can be understood using theoretical research. So when we do applied research, it is more of finding a solution for a particular issue. So dropping out of school can be managed by, let's say, some kind of mentorship programs. Okay, so I am initiating a mentorship program which I feel, if implemented in the school, the dropouts will be lesser compared to the previous year. So I am actually bringing up a program which will be implemented, which will be applied to the field, and then we will see whether it is helping or it's not helping. So how is it? So that is how applied research works. So when we see these are the different types of research, there is different types of methods also which can be used to do these kind of research. So whatever type of research we do, there are certain methods. Okay, so whether I have to understand that the school students are dropping out from the school, right? So, for example, let's see qualitative methodology. So, qualitative methodology deals more with non-numerical data. Okay, so it is not numbers basically. This is basically, for example, I am going and asking the teachers, the parents, the other school students, and asking them, like, why do you feel that school dropout is increasing year by year? What are the reasons? What are you feeling? And what can be done to actually prevent this particular issue? So I am talking to them, they are giving me information, or else I do an observation study. For example, I go there, I be a part of that particular school, stay with them for a year, work with them, then I observe why these things are happening, and then making a note of it and doing a research out of it. These kind of things are not dealing with numbers. They are all dealing with quality of information, in-depth information, how people experience or how people feel in a certain manner. So that is how qualitative method is used to do a particular research. On the other hand, if we see quantitative method, that is more of numbers. So how here it works is, I with a questionnaire go to this particular school and ask the teacher, like, how many students are there in school? Okay, this tick. How many dropout had happened, 100 or 50 or 10, whatever I tick. Then again I'll ask that what is the age group of the students dropping out? Okay, are they young children or are they teenagers? So those I'm ticking. So when I'm going with the questionnaire and I'm ticking the questions and collecting the numbers or the data or statistical numbers, then it is more of a quantitative method. So whatever type of research you do, you have to choose quantitative method or qualitative method. Or in some research, you can actually combine these methods, which can be termed as mixed methodology in the research. Okay, so till now, these we discussed about the types of the research and we discussed about the types of the methods in the research, but in both the cases, primary and secondary methods have not been discussed. So then what is primary and secondary method? Are they types of research or are they methods of research? So what primary and secondary research is, that more deals with the database. So what do we understand by database? So whenever we are doing a research, we have a database from where we collect the data. Okay, so that data, for example, I told I'm going to the school collecting data from the teachers, students, parents, and other office staff. So I am collecting the information or the data from people through the conversation or through the interview or through the group discussion. Or else, what I can do is I can also go to the school, get their documents, their previous records, and get the information whether how many school students dropped out last year, and what was the actual number of students who joined the school this year. So I am going back and collecting the records and statistics of previous years and collecting the data. Or I am actually taking the newspapers and checking, like, from last few years, how many articles on the school dropouts have come in the newspapers, and I'm noting down those information and summarizing those as my data. So primary and secondary research is solely based on what database are you using. So as I mentioned here, there are different databases like data from books, from magazine, articles, publications, journals, documents, newspaper, video, audio clips, image, and so many other things. So, according to that database where you are collecting the data, your research will be divided into the two, that is the primary as well as the secondary. Okay, till now it is clear. Kushi, am I audible? I hope I am audible because I'm not getting any response.
Yes, you are audible
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, the
Because
sound is not working
yeah,
properly.
I am actually not, I prefer these offline sessions. So when online session happens, only screen is there in front of me, then I get confused whether people are either listening or not.
No, no, we all are listening and you
Yeah.
are audible, visible, and it's going amazing and smoothly
Oh,
also.
okay, okay, Kushi, thank you so much. So let's
Keep
move
it.
on to the details of primary and secondary research. So now let's move on to the primary research, which actually talks about the first-hand data. That is, primary research is when the researcher conducts their own study to collect new data. So I myself as a researcher went to the school. I spoke to the teachers, I spoke to the parents, I spoke to the students, I collected the information, whether it is through interview or whether it is the questionnaire. I myself doing these things and collecting the first hand information, then it is a primary research method or a primary research. The data is a primary data. Okay, these data, when then reported and analyzed and explained, and then the complete research methodology is completed, then I can say that I have used a primary research method to do my research. Okay, so it's an original data, it's a first-hand data, and the researcher themselves usually goes. Otherwise, sometimes the team research may say somebody can go and collect, but usually it is the researcher. So, yeah, so as we discussed, it involves collecting original data directly from the sources. It is used when the existing data doesn't give a particular answer. So I actually tried collecting data from different sources, but I am not able to get the answer why still students are dropping out from the school. So I thought, okay, so let me get involved, and primarily me being the researcher, I will get the data from my own effort, and I'll go by myself and collect the data. Then is when the primary method is used. So common in scientific, education, business, and social science field. Like most of the fields we can actually use, but very common in these fields. So it aims to generate a new knowledge, often through observation and experiment. So like finding a new medicine, for example, let's go to the science. Finding a new medicine or doing a new experiment on a particular illness, or getting something new information, it's all new. It is not like the previous data which is existed, they are summarizing it. No, they are finding something new. So primary research generally involves the method of observation or experiment. Okay, so these are the methods. These are the primary methods. They are surveys. Surveys is like structured questionnaire. You will use the questionnaire to gather the data from a large or a small group. You just go and get it done. Interviews, as I already spoke, I have a couple of questions or a 5 to 10 questions. I go and speak to people one by one, or else I have a group conversation, that is like group focus group, where I sit and talk to a group of people sharing common issue or having a similar, homogeneous group, and I have a conversation and get the data collected. Or observation is watching and recording the behavior. Like I told, I go to the school, get myself employed there as a staff for 1 year. I be with them, I stay with them, I observe the students, I observe the staff, I observe everything, and I learn, and I do my research observing and living with them. Okay, so that is the observation method which is used. So the advantages of primary research is more that data is original. Okay, because you yourself are going and collecting, it is original, it is very new, it is current, it's a very new information which you are getting, and it is specific to your needs. You have particular needs, you are going and asking that particular question and getting the information what you want. Okay, allows a deep insight into a problem or a behavior. So you are understanding the problem very in depthly. Okay, you are going and asking the question, and we are going very in depth about the problem and getting more information regarding that. It also enhances the credibility, and especially in the academic and scientific. So when you do an academic level research or a scientific field research, whenever you're doing primary research, it has more credibility. That research is considered on an upper hand compared to the research done using secondary, is what we are telling here. So that is the advantage which we can see in the primary research. So yeah, so any type or any method, we know that when there is an advantage, there is also some of the cons or the challenges or the difficulties associated to that particular method. So here, the first challenge would be time consuming and often expensive. See, I myself go there, okay, be there, ask questions, sit with them, do a 2 hours recording. Then I come back, I listen to the recording, I transcribe the recording, or I get the survey questionnaire. I, come do, marking it out, and then coding, then decoding, then doing everything. So it is a time consuming process and often expensive because you have to travel to a particular place, stay there for a while. So it is expensive. Can be affected by bias. Bias can be either in primary, secondary. So whatever kind of research you do, the possibilities of biases are always there. So it depends on how lesser bias can be brought into a research. Here, the bias, for example, I go and do an interview with a parent whose child is not studying in that school. Okay, if I go and ask that parent about the school and the dropping out scenario, the parent will be giving some other information which is not at all relevant for me, because their child is not studying in that school, right? So that is a biased sample selection. So if I do go and collect data from that person, I already wasted my time, I already wasted my money, but still I couldn't get a proper information because I chose a wrong sample. Okay, so that bias has to be taken care. Participants may not always give accurate and reliable answer. That always happens when you do primary data collection, because you are going to a school to collect data. The teacher is very busy. For example, the teacher tomorrow have exam duties. Today you are asking 2 hours with her to spend. She might not be giving you the time, right? She might not be, or she, if she gives also, she'll be giving you, fast answers. She's not giving the proper answers. Or sometimes when they fill the questionnaire, they'll be chumma filling it without actually reading the questions, or filling only the only one particular point and all those things. So sometimes those kind of inaccurate or unreliable answers might be there when the primary research is being done. You may miss key factors if the study is too narrow focus. For example, I if I just go and talk to the teachers, and I do the research only with the teachers, sometimes I may actually lose focus from the larger broader area. So I may miss out these things. So these are the challenges which happens with the primary research. Ethical consideration, irrespective of you do a primary research or a secondary research, whether you're doing a research, ethical consideration is very important. So here, when you are doing a primary research, the most important part is voluntary participation. See, you cannot just barge into a group of people sitting and start asking questions stating that I'm a researcher. You cannot do that. So what you have to do is, like, prior you have to get an appointment from them, talk to them regarding your research, talk to them what are you going to do, how you are going to do, how much time you want with them. When they agree, when they give you an informed consent, only then they you can make them as your participant. Until unless that is not happening, you cannot just go and ask question to particular people. That is unethical. So ethical consideration, informed consent has to be taken prior to prior doing a primary research. Anonymity and confidentiality, their information is very confidential. Their name should not be coming anywhere published, their address, their information, nothing should be, that all should be kept anonymous. Their time, their their inputs, everything should be given value, they should be given respect, and the safety of your participant is also very important when you are doing a research. So these things has to be taken care as an part of the ethical consideration while doing primary research. So let's move on to the secondary research. So secondary research means, now we spoke about primary research is going yourself and collecting the data. and getting the information from a first hand level. So what will be the secondary research? Secondary research will be like, you are going and getting the information, but the information which has already been collected by somebody else. Okay, so secondary research means analyzing an existing data that others have already collected and published. So you are not going and collecting, you are just summarizing or reading or briefing it an information which is already there, which has been found by somebody else. So instead of gathering new information, the researcher interprets, summarizes a previous study or a statistics. So these are like very common in many fields like market research, legal studies, education, science, and more. So it helps us to answer research questions quickly and cost it effectively by using trusted sources. For example, I think many of you would have been doing, like would have done your dissertation in your masters. So in that you're doing review of literature, right? So what we will do in review of literature, we actually go search different articles from different journals or from different books about what you are going to do, the research. Okay, so for example, we were talking about the school dropouts. So you go and search the research articles on school dropouts, you collect all the articles, you summarize the article and write a review. So the review is yours, but the data where you collected it from is already existing. Somebody else has done all the research. You are just collecting it and summarizing it and publishing it. So this is a kind of a secondary information which you are having. So secondary data can be sourced from different sources. That can be like academic journals, like peer reviewed and original articles. Books and articles can provide you more information regarding the secondary, can be a source of a secondary research. Government websites, there are reports, there are statistics, there are public records which you can use for your study. Universities and educational institutions, commercial media, online database, and all can be done. So this basically, secondary research is also known as bench research or desk research, or nowadays we can say that computer research. So this can be done without going anywhere. You be there, sit there, and you do your research. So nowadays everything is available through internet, all the articles and everything is available. You source those articles, brief it, and complete your research. Okay, so in certain researches, you don't need primary research sources. You don't have to go and collect interviews, and you have to go and do a first hand data. In some researchers, only secondary research is enough for a research basis. So in that cases, the secondary research can be done. Here also we can see that there are many challenges which are there. Okay, so credibility of sources. So whenever you are collecting data which is already being collected by somebody else, we should know whether how credible the source is, whether it is a good source, whether it is a reliable source, whether it is a proper ethically correct source. You just can't randomly go and get some report or some thing from the internet and use it. That will not work. So that the kind of credibility has to be checked. Relevance of the data. So whether you have a research question when you are starting a research, right? So whether this particular information or this particular article is answering your question or not is something very important you have to see through. So that also has to be taken care, whether the data you are having is relevant or not. Timeliness, for example, let's say we have okay, so recently we had a flood in our state, right? So we had flood and we wanted to collect data about the interventions provided for the people who are the survivors of a disaster. So you have to collect the recent disasters and the interventions rather than going back to the 1900s and collecting the information like in 1930s and 40s, how what all interventions were given to the survivors cannot be used now. So whenever you are using a data which is a secondary data, The point which has to be kept in mind is that should not be a very old data. Your research question has to be answered with a very current or a new information which is available. Okay. So, and data accuracy, whether these information given in the secondary data is accurate or not, that also has to be considered. Okay. So now let's move on to when to use the primary and secondary research. So primary research is best used when you have to understand or create a new knowledge. Okay. When you have a research question. Okay. When you have a research question like why pollution is increasing these days in my district or my state or my country. So this is the question. Then you are thinking that okay, you will go and find the secondary sources. Usually for this question you will get a lot of secondary data. You can get a lot of information about it, but just imagine that you don't have a secondary research done or a secondary information about this question. You are searching articles, you are not finding it. You are searching books, you find that you went to several organizations to collect data, records, statistics, you are not finding. Then you understand that this particular thing has not been studied or has not been discussed. So what I should do, I should create a new knowledge about my question. So then I'm doing it by myself, so it should be a first hand information. Okay. Testing a hypothesis. When you test an hypothesis, what is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is basically a speculation. Like it's kind of a guess, or it's kind of a tentative statement where you see that you tell that pollution in my state is increasing due to this or due to this. So this is the kind of speculation which is. So whether to prove it is because of this or that, you have to do a primary research. Only then you will understand, rather than using a secondary research method. Needing tailored data from specific people or situation. When you need a particular knowledge about a community or a particular situation, you have to do a primary research rather than focusing on the already available resources. So secondary data can be bestly done when building background knowledge. For example, you want to do a research, but you feel that you want to know more about the particular question. So you go back, find articles, review it, and do it, and then make a background or make a foundation for your research. Then you need a secondary resource. Okay, reviewing past studies and trends and working with limited time. When you have a little bit of time and this your research has to be completed in 6 months. Okay, so it's very difficult for you to go collect data, first hand information, then analyzing it and writing it and all will take longer time. So 6 months ke time mein if you have to do a research, better opt a secondary research if the resources are available. So this is how you can actually uh, differentiate like when to use primary as well as secondary research. Can we combine the primary and secondary research? Yes, of course. We can combine primary and secondary research because when we combine both of them, no, it gives a more balanced and more efficient and validated process where you feel that your research is more, credible, more powerful, you feel, because you have a blend of both the processes. So, primary research offers first-hand, specific, tailor-made research goals. On the other hand, secondary data will help you with background, context, and trends which are existing and which are available. So, while keeping the secondary resources as the base and then building with your primary research, your research entirely will have a very stronger base, and the credibility will be very stronger compared to any of these method individually. So benefit of integration is confirming findings via triangulation. Triangulation is nothing, it's just confirming one with another. Okay. So when you have collected the data, for example, let's go to the previous first example of school dropouts. So I am going and collecting the data from the teachers and the parents and the students, and I got an information. I went back and read the records and articles and I got an information. Now I can check whether this information is equal to this information or these both information contradicts or not. So triangulation basically confirms whether these two informations are contradicting or they are similar or how it works. So when we combine primary and secondary research method, they actually fill the gap. So when there is a gap that only this research will not help or this research will not actually help, so when they combine both of these things, they fill the particular gap which is there, which was void, which has been taken care by using both the methods. It optimizes, primary research by narrowing focus. So it helps the primary research to get a more, stronger credibility when we use secondary method and primary method together. Okay. So these are the key steps which has to be kept in mind when we are integrating or combining these both. So begin with secondary research. So whenever we are going to combine both the research, it's always good to start with the secondary research. Why? Because secondary research is going to give us the information which is already existing. Okay, so when these informations are there, these reviews have been done. So now I am strong enough about the knowledge about my research. Now with this particular existing knowledge, I am going to do my data collection using the primary method. Okay, so I always begin with the secondary research. Define complementary objectives. Like there should be very much of clarification inside your mind, that why are you using secondary method and why are you using primary. So what is the secondary method using is helping you with, and what is the primary method helping you with. Okay, and integrating the framework. Okay, so how they are logically combined to build a better research process. Okay, using of technologies. So AI tools are there these days. Many of the people are misusing technology for the research purpose. You should not misuse the technology by just copy pasting or doing the analysis with the help of AI and all. That cannot be used, but AI can help you track these articles and all. So there are different AIs which can help you identify the articles which is similar to your research area. So you can use those technologies and help to blend both your primary and secondary method of research and synthesize the finding, merge the insight and write a cohesive conclusion which will help to build a better research product. So real world application, if we see in business and market research, we can see that we can use the market reports which is available there with the customer survey, which will help us to refine a particular product. Okay, so any product which is new in the market, they can use the previous reports and surveys and can help to refine the products. Healthcare sectors may, what we will do, we will use the clinical data available, like how many patients came, how many went, how many passed away, which intervention helped, which medicine helped. These kind of records can be used and build a foundation, and on that you can run a primary method and find a new specific intervention for a specific illness. Social science way, what we can do is like we can combine the historical data, focus on a particular group, particular social issues was carried out or was handled in this particular manner in the past. Now what all methods are available and how can it be done. So that helps us in the social science field. So common challenges, what happens when we integrate both the methods is overlapping happens. You don't know which one to bring where and which to handle first. So there should be a proper clear cut boundary between the secondary method and the primary method. So you have a clear objective about it. Time limited or budget. So prioritize. Okay, which has to be done when and how, and then how primary research can be carried out after that. Balancing both the approaches is very important. So when integrating this, it helps us in more clarification and in-depth information when it is integrated to get a more reliable information about the research what we are trying to do. Benefits of research integration, again, as we already told, that it improves and it improves the accuracy and the credibility of the research. The efficiency and the focus of the research will increase, and wider the perspective. Now we have both the recordical information as well as the new information which we have gathered. So our perceptions, it get wider when we use both the methods. And then now let's move on to the conclusion. Like I'll just briefly conclude like how these things works and how better it can be used. So as we already spoke about, is primary research is powerful tool for discovering new information. It requires planning, it requires time, it requires ethical consideration, but the insights are worth it. so much of time and money it takes, but the result at the end is worth it. So whether we are a student, a teacher, or a professional, knowing how to use primary research helps us to think more critically and contribute to a more original knowledge. Okay. On the other hand, secondary research is powerful in time saving tool and when used wisely. Okay. So it forms a backbone of literature review and background studies. While it is less handed compared to the primary research, it still requires critical thinking, source evaluation, and proper referencing. Okay. So knowing when and how to use secondary data makes the researcher faster, smarter, and more impactful. So when you integrate both of them with critical planning, your research will be much better and you will be considered as a smarter researcher compared to the other researchers. Okay. So let's move on to the last slide of the presentation where the major differences. You can take a screenshot so that you have, like, everything is being discussed, whatever we discussed is being depicted in the this particular slide. So here the meaning again, primary data is the data collected by the researcher himself or herself, the data collected by other people in secondary data that we are using. Original, primary one is original and unique information, but the secondary is not original, or may not be unique information also. So adjustment, primary may we don't do any adjustment and there is no need for adjustment at all. But in secondary data, we might have to adjust that information according to our research. Sources, basically we use methods of sources like survey, observation, and experiments. And secondary data may we use more of internal records, government records or published data, etc. Type of data can be both, here quantitative or qualitative. Here it will be more of than quantitative in secondary data. Methods: observation, experiment, and interview in primary. Secondary may we use more desk research methods, searching online, etc. Okay. Reliability may primary is more reliable compared to the secondary data. Primary data is more time consuming compared to secondary data. Need of the investigator: trained investigator is needed to collect primary data, because the people who go and do the interviews or collect the survey should be trained enough to get a proper reliable information. If an untrained researcher goes, they may not be able to accurately get the data what they actually want. Secondary data doesn't need much of the team of investigators. Okay. Cost effective, which one? Secondary. Primary is costly. So secondary data, when there is inadequacy in secondary data, primary data can be done. And secondary data is almost whenever gathered when there is, before the primary data collection is done. Capability, primary data is more like primary research is more capable of solving the problem compared to the secondary data, and more suitable to achieve the objective. And bias wise, both ways bias can happen. Okay, we can't tell that primary is better or secondary is better. Bias can be happening. It lies in the researcher's hand, I would say. Collected by the researcher or the agents, and here it can be collected by anybody else. Precautions. Uh, Precautions also has to be taken necessarily in both the cases. It's not like it's not necessary in the primary data, but compared to the secondary data, little less precaution is fine because you yourself are collecting the data. And secondary data may it's quite necessary because you are taking some other information, so you have to see that the bias doesn't happen in as such. So this is all about the primary and secondary research in the research. I think I was able to convey at least a bit of something which have gone inside you people. Kushi, okay. Hello,
Yeah, if
Kushi.
yeah, I'm audible.
Yeah. So I'm done. If any questions or queries are there, you can actually ask.
If you have any queries, any question, please drop the message in comment section of YouTube. Actually, I'm just checking. Is
Nice.
there any queries and question from audience or participants? Waiting for your questions, guys. Please ask if you have any doubt or query, feedback, anything. We'll wait for 2 or 3 more minutes,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
we can wrap up. Okay.
So there can be two possibilities: either whether they understood everything or they didn't understand anything. So any of these possibility can be the reason of no questions coming up. So, but yeah, um, I'm happy to answer if there are any questions. See, mostly it is dinner time. I think everyone would have left for dinner.
So I would like to call Nandana. She will give you a word of thanks and conclude this session.
Yeah.
Good evening. On
Thank you.
behalf of Atma Foundation, I wholeheartedly thank Adharsa ma'am for taking time out for sharing such a valuable insights with us. Your session was truly informative, ma'am, that helped us to understand a lot about primary and secondary research. We are so grateful for your time and contribution. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next, I would like to thank the participants who are there with us for this webinar. Thank you all. Thank you for that. With that, we come to the end of today's session. So please don't forget to fill the feedback form that will be dropped in the YouTube comment section. So because your feedback will help us to improve and design better sessions for you in the future. Once again, thanking you. Thank you all.
Ji, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I think I would like to thank Sankita also, who is my friend, for giving me this opportunity for this session. Thank you. So good night. So if anything, any doubts comes up later also, Kushi, you can contact me. I'll be happy to
Thank
help.
you, ma'am. Of course. Then thank you so much.
Okay, okay.